Hey everyone, in this video we'll go over the Intraday Solver, which will honestly save you hours and hours every single week, if not every single day. So what it is an optimization engine to schedule the activities for your team to be doing throughout. So you see this here on the right, you can find it here. Normally the magic wand, you open it and I'll show you what we will sort of work towards in this video. You just hit solve, and then what it does is it will look at everything that you need to get done in the day, and it will schedule it on everyone that is working on that particular day. So it will take a few seconds, as you see, because it goes over thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of combinations, depending on how many activities you have, etc. And then it will try to optimize and make any of the rules so that you make sure that it is exactly as you want it to be. So here you see the result, and as you can see, if we would do this manually, you see we have quite a few people here, all different things, everyone gets a break, everyone's doing different tasks, and if I do it manually, you can imagine it would take me a lot of time. So let's go over it, start to finish. I will record a different video with the prerequisites that we need. So as you can see, you need some activities, you need some people in make this, but do that in a different video. All right, so let's first start from scratch. This is what we have if everything is already in place. So first things first. As you can see, we build it up from the ground up. So just start with opening up the solver, and we grab an activity. So let's look at what happens if I just say, okay, email, without any rules. You could just hit solve, and you will see it will just add email to everyone. All right, so that's probably not what I want. So but this is kind of the way I like to go through it to sort of build up the case that we eventually want to get to. So maybe we say, okay, if I have email, we need about, say we need about 20 hours in total throughout the day. So let's just see what happens if I do that. Oh, sorry, that was the minimum. So we do have 20 hours. Let's say 20 hours maximum as well. We have exactly 20 hours to do. So if I do that, it just creates, and I don't quite like how it breaks things up, but we have a total of exactly 20 hours scheduled throughout the day. So next thing I do is, aside from the time required rule that I added here, I add another constraint. So I will say, all right, I want people to work on this for no more than 3 hours. Then the kind of you lose focus. It's time for something else. And at a minimum of 2 hours. So let's see what happens then. All right, so now it adds the email to everyone, and it gives you any 3 hours, and it just makes sure that we have 20 hours in total. I'm quite happy with that. And what I like to do is, then we can go on to the next activity. And what I like to do in between is to kind of make checkpoints. So here in the top, you can create, you can save your configurations, and maybe with so few settings and just one activity doesn't make sense, but just to show you, I like to do like checkpoint 1, and that way I can always grab this if we mess up later along the way, and then after this I don't have to do it again. So kind of how I like to work on this. Now let's add so let's say I made a mistake, and then I open up the solver again. I just start off with my checkpoint 1, and now I'll add another activity. So let's say we want to have some breaks. Everyone should have a break. And there we'd say, all right, we wanna have this activity scheduled within a certain time window. So there we grab the time window constraint, and normally, or if you have everyone same amount of time, then you can say, okay, that's an absolute time, or for specific activities that only take place on a set time throughout the day, then use the absolute time. But since we have people who start at different times, it makes more sense to grab the relative time. So we can say, all right, it starts 4 hours into your shift, and the window, so the time window, since this time window, is we have let's say one and a half hour window. You know what? Maybe I'll make this 3.5, so it's a bit more even. So 3.5 hours after the start of my shift, and then for the next 1.5 hours, that's the window when this activity, the break, can take place. So if I start at 11, then or at 30, then what am I saying? At 3, my shift, my window for the break starts, and I have a window of 1.5 hours, and the break should not take 1.5 hours. That's a bit long. So we say, all right, this has a consecutive time, which is the last thing here. Scroll down, of 30 minutes. So that makes sure that this is scheduled for 30 minutes. So I give it a minimum and a maximum. That makes sure it is 30 minutes. And last but not least, we don't want people to have multiple breaks. So we say, okay, it should only happen, every user should get 1 break at least, and also 1 break is enough. So if you have other things, you can say there's no minimum, there is a maximum of 2 or more, or whatever makes sense. So, and you can also do that on the whole team, but in this case, since I want everyone to get a break, I will do it like this. And that way we can see how this works. Just by hitting solve. So now you see that, okay, we have the breaks that are added. Every single person should have a break. And let's see, right? And oh, maybe one more thing that helps is if you say, okay, look, if I look at the breaks, this is pretty neat actually. So it's quite good because I have the window that's pretty broad. Maybe you don't want everyone to, or you want to make sure that not too many people are scheduled to get a break at the same time. You can add one more constraint, which is the concurrency. So if you say, all right, look, I don't want more than half of the team, I'll do less in this case, 30% of the team to go on break at the same time, so that we have enough people who are still working at any given point. Then I can add this constraint. So if I hit that, oh, no solution found. So that's a little bit too tight. I can make it a soft constraint. What that does is it doesn't stop, but it will try to optimize towards this target. So I don't have to tweak with the numbers. I just say, look, that's kind of what I want. But if it doesn't quite work out, you don't have to, not make the schedule. So as you can see, it is a bit more distributed now. And of course, if you tweak that number, it will get even more strict. But that way you can sort of peaks in terms of how many people can go on break at the same time. Of course, it also applies to other activities where you want to limit the number of people working on something at the same time. For instance, maybe with the email, if we add it there, if we say, look, oh, wrong one. If we say concurrency of, well, actually, you know what? Can make sure that not a lot of people are working on email. I also make this a soft constraint because I don't care too much, but just try to make sure people don't are not emailing all at the same time. Is that about right? Yeah, I think so. A soft constraint. Maybe I can make it a hard constraint. I think that divides it even better. So as you can see, no more than 10% of the total team is working. So a hard constraint gets more divided. So anyway, that works. Now this is how you can build up the rest of the schedule. So if I, let's say, add right, let's turn this into a checkpoint again. So checkpoint 2, then we have this. Right, now let's say we have people with certain skills. So maybe I have people who speak French in my team. And not everyone on the team has the ability to speak French. Some people don't, like myself. So I can select users. So let's say I select the people who French, and that way I limit that this activity, French, is assigned to people who only have that skill. And if it is a type of skill that you use more often, so maybe, well, let's stick to the French example. I also have user groups, so I can say, okay, look, team leads number 2, they all speak French. So if I have a long list of users, I don't have to add them individually with their name. I can just select the entire user group, and everyone in that group will then be assigned this, or will not be assigned this activity, but only those people who are part of that user group will be able to be assigned the activity. So if that makes sense. So maybe for French, let's say that in total well, there should be at least 3 instances where people are assigned this. I hope I have enough people here. And let's say we need a total time for the whole team, the whole day of 10 hours. So, and of course, okay, I don't like how this is. I'm only getting 2.5 hours. Oh, it's important to be sharp. So let's say 10 hours of French per day. Only those people who are part of the user group or those individuals that I assigned. We now have 10 hours, but as you can see, it kind of broke things up into little bits and pieces. That's not what I want. And you get this. We also have tickets. Everyone can always work on tickets. And I don't add any limits, and you will see it kind of makes things more evenly divided, as you can see here. So that's just how the cookie crumbles, or how the solver solves. So more activities, making the schedule more complete, you get a better result overall. That's also good to know. But of course, if we don't like to have that kind of, so let me just disable this activity for now. If we don't like to have that, then again on the activity, consecutive time is at least, people should be at least scheduled for hours. So if I do that, then the minimum time period anyone can be assigned is 2 hours. And as you can see now, it just assigns, because I said it doesn't matter who gets it. You just need 10 hours, and it just puts it at 1. So here you see the importance of setting all the different rules up correctly. And so if I want, now what is, okay, look, the occurrence, this is total, so this is for the whole team, 3 hours. I'll say no, I want this per user to be maximum of 2. And we have a total of 10 hours in the team, so that's fine. And it's broken down into minimum of 2 hours. So okay, also maximum of 2 hours. Let's see if I can still make it work. Right, so now you see we have a better distribution of this, because I say only 2 hours that people can be working on this. So yeah, I quite like that. All right, so now all right, so now I want to take a step back and see that if we have a situation where we know how many people we need at a specific point in time. So for instance, if you have, let's say, a front desk where you have 2 people that always need to be there, or you have some live channels such as phone, those things, then you might already know how many people you need at specific points in time. So let's take a look at chat, for instance. Here you see the red line. This kind of makes sense of how many we need. So we start at 8 and then, well, close the lines at 7 in this case. It's very simple. We have a very simple way to add this. So you have a staffing requirements here that you can open and you can manually input it. Yeah, don't mind the difference here with the time zone. But that's a simple way to do it. So you can always do that for any activity. A way more sophisticated is if you have a forecast. There's a different video on how to set that up. You can also contact us. But you can have a forecast based on historic volumes on that particular channel, and then we have a staffing requirement that will be automatically calculated, so it's not a manual input. For now, go with the simple setup. So let me open up the magic wand here, and let's say I just take my chat, and then we have the staffing requirement. We'll start with that. So a few different modes. We can say, okay, look, this what I said in terms of staffing requirements. I want to make sure that's my baseline. So I'm okay if I have more people on the chat, maybe, or I say no, look, that's my maximum. So then I will not have more, but I'll try to fill this out so that at specific points, for example 11, I will have 10 people till 3. So that's different way to go about it. So let's say we'll do that. So if I only do that now, then you will see it will fill it up exactly. Yeah, so that's one way, but then again you can see we didn't give it any other constraints. So I'll actually do it in combination with this. So I'll add the chat, move this. I'll say, look, the staffing requirement is what I want to use, and I want people to be working on this on chat for at least 2 hours at a go, and maximum of 4. Then they kind of get distracted and need a break. Yeah, so if I do that, then I think we'll get a pretty decent result. So there you go. We now have, since we set the maximum, I think something changed with the break because it looks very straight. But yeah, as you can see, let's say we want to fill this exactly. There you go. So you saw the difference between maximum, where we say, I don't want to overstaff. And now we have this exactly, and we have it in parts of at least 2 hours, 3 hours. And you can also say, look, I see here that Bruce is on chat 2 times that day. If you don't want that, then again add another constraint. Then we can say it would be a maximum of 1 per user. So that way, I hope it still works with the other rules that we have. Yeah, so you see now everyone only gets is assigned the chat 1 time every single day. We get exactly the number of people we need, and we have it in chunks of minimum of 2 hours, maximum of 4. So that's how the solver works, and how you can build up the entire schedule. And then of course, if you add more things, so let's say also want to have tickets. We want to have VIP. Maybe for this, we know that, okay, we need people spend at least an hour when they're assigned on VIP stuff. So as you can see, this is how you build up the whole thing. And then, yeah, is a complete schedule. And if you, well, now you see the tickets kind of is cut up. So again, here, if we don't like that, then we say consecutive time should be at least so as you can see, there's not really a wrong way to go about this. The way we have made it is that you can kind of build up your schedule same way you think about it. So you start by adding the activity, and then for each single activity, you start as they make sense. You saw with my workflow, I like to just hit solve, go back, see the result, go back, and then try it again until I'm satisfied with the way things look. So if, let's say I'm happy with this, then what I gotta do is I will save this. So I'll say this is my perfect schedule. And that way I don't have to do this whole setup again. If I go to another day, then I just grab my perfect schedule. I get the same settings and the same rules that we've created. I just hit solve and my schedule gets generated. So that's how it works. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help you out. Maybe you have some rules that make sense in your head, but you don't need to get the configuration just right. Then we can help you out with that. Or if there is a rule that is somehow not possible to create with the constraints that we have, let us know. We can always add more constraints. But this is a pretty we've seen that for most teams this works. Hitting the magic wand over here to open up the solver. Then you start adding the activities. Just go over it as you would go, you know, how you think throughout the day. Hit that. Then you say, okay, I add my rules. So you can always see what you need. Start building up your schedule. Maybe one more thing. If you have things that are more important than others, you can change the priority here. So you can say, all right, this is more important, or this is super important. That will get some weight so that the solver knows, okay, I need to prioritize this over another. And have something's low priority, that's also there. If you notice that, hey, the solver cannot make sense of it, make sure you have enough people so that you're not trying to say, I need 1,000 hours working on this particular activity, but you can see that, oh, you don't have that many hours available to you, then it just cannot find a solution. But the helps there is if you say, all right, you will see these soft constraints. If you flip on the soft constraint, then it will allow the solver to still get to a feasible solution. It will try to respect the rule as much as possible, and if not, then it will still come up with a solution. And after you save, so save the configuration along the way. And last thing is, if you're not quite happy with the results and you have some more time on your hands, here in the settings, you can change how long you want to wait. So by default, we say we want to get a result as fast as possible. But if you have more time, it can find a more optimal solution. So it will do some kind of hill climbing. It will score basically the solutions, because as we mentioned, it will, as I mentioned earlier, it will try to fill out thousands of solutions, and then it will score them and basically give you the best possible solution. So the more time you give the solver, the more optimal the solution. So you can change the settings here. But by default, we will try to give you a solution that is good respecting all the rules, and we try to give that as fast as possible. So you can also change that setting. Yeah, so that's it. Hope you like it. Watch the other video for the prerequisites if you want to dive into that. And otherwise, reach out to us or have fun scheduling with the Intraday Solver.